Okay, the time being 6:30, call the Ashland Planning Board meeting to order with roll call. Tricia Ferris,
Present.
Mardine Badger,
Here.
Paula Hancock.
Present.
Andy Fitch will be standing in for Chris Genoza. Did I get that right?
Yep. Here.
Bethany Franz.
Here.
Linda Barnes.
Here.
Donna Decato will be late with notice. She's at work. And I am Kendall Hughes. First order of business will be the approval of the minutes, with first being October 15th. I do have a few corrections. I believe I emailed these out to
Yes.
everyone? Yes?
Yep.
Okay, so if you've seen them, do you want me to go over them? I will give this to Paula.
No need to go over it.
Are you doing the 15th, you said?
The 15th.
Okay. After you're done, I have corrections.
Okay, why don't you go ahead with yours?
Okay, okay. You ready? Okay. 15th, okay. At the top where we have members present, a couple are indicated as absent. Can we do a separate category for members absent? Members present, members absent. And check the spelling of Donna Locurto's last name. Should be Locurto.
Are we looking at the 2nd or the 15th?
15.
15.
You said it? Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
I'd also add in there that after Tricia's name should be Ferris, because it just says
Yes,
Tricia.
missed the last name. Yeah. Okay. I missed that. Okay.
Kendall, I don't know if you got an email from me that afternoon, but I had let you know I couldn't come.
Oh, wait.
I did not get that email.
I'm sorry, and I'm wrong,
That was the second.
That was the second, yeah.
Yeah, I got it when I got home.
Okay, thank you.
At the towards the bottom of page 1, second bullet up from the bottom, the sentence that reads "all studies will need to be verified." That really is covered in the bullets up above. Okay,
So we can strike that.
it's redundant. On page 2. Second bullet, the financial impact on the town of the Mill Pond project will meet all aspects of zoning ordinance 2.4F. There is no 2.4F,
Right.
so I don't know what that refers to.
That refers to the, not the zoning one, it's the site plan.
Okay, site plan
The
or subdivision?
site plan, I
Site
believe it
plan,
is.
okay, okay.
Okay, duly noted.
Middle of the page, in the section that starts with the planning board met with William Hess.
Yep. Got it?
2, 3, 4. The 5th bullet, Hess has worked with the town.
Yep.
But my best interests are with the property owner or business owner. I don't think
I have
that's
no idea what
clear.
that says.
Delete?
I would delete the whole sentence. Very bottom of that page. The bottom bullet, it's Michael Latula and Susan Wood.
Got it.
Sorry, Sue.
Page 3. About halfway down, there's a bullet that says the planning board needs to answer any questions about access to Owlbrook Road.
Yep, I got that.
I'm not sure what that,
I believe it was actually to Route 3, not Albrook Road.
okay, Route 3,
Yes.
okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
Duly noted.
And top of page 4. The heading bump property subdivision.
Yep.
When we're in minutes, when we're referring to properties, especially on issues that are coming up again, I think we need to be clear that we identify the property. Just saying the bump property is not clear. Because 2 years down the line, if we look back at this set of minutes, we're not gonna know what we're referring to.
How do
I think what we need to say is give the tax map lot number is 110-045 on Depot Street, owned by Commerce Properties. Yes, years ago it was owned by Mr. Bump, and actually his total property then was subdivided. So, and I believe it should say the planning board, not the town, approved a subdivision application years ago.
The planning board?
Correct, the planning board. did.
However, this subdivision application approval has lapsed, and I would strike the last sentence.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Interesting but
Years ago.
irrelevant.
Okay, and one last one, okay,
I got this one.
okay, strike the sentence.
Yeah,
Years ago, the bump property was used as grazing land for local cattle.
got it.
Yeah, just strike that whole sentence.
Go on.
And then the last one, where it says Mardine Badger made the following points. I think these were points that kind of all of us,
Planning board made the following.
yeah.
So how do you want that to read?
Planning board made the following points.
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
Planning board instead of Mardine.
Got it.
Well, there's part of the discussion. That's all I have.
Okay,
Anything else on this sentence?
does anyone else have anything on the minutes of the 15th of October?
No.
All right, I entertain a motion on these minutes.
So moved.
Okay, so the motion is to move the minutes with the corrections. Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
I'm abstaining.
Alternates.
I will second it, now that I understand, yeah. I will second this. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So Paula, you said aye,
Yes, I did.
and I do as well, so the three of us agree to it. All those opposed? Those abstaining?
Aye.
So two abstaining, because they were not present for the meeting.
Andy and Tricia.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay. Minutes of October 2nd. I did have one change in this. Again, I sent that out to you. I hope everyone got it. Did you get that, Paula?
Yes, I did.
Okay. That change was, it should read rural residential, not village residential. Okay. Does anyone,
What page are you on?
that is on page 3, the very top, second line on page 3. Yeah, I didn't draw a line through the village residential, but it needs to be.
Designated as village residential instead of rural.
It is rural, you
It
said.
should be designated rural residential
Yep, got that.
instead
Okay.
of village residential.
Instead of.
Yep.
I got it.
Okay. Does anyone have any other changes?
Yeah, I do.
Nadine?
Where are you?
Again, at the top, separate out the members present and members absent.
I'll do that again.
Yeah, Linda Barnes did send notice, I just didn't get it until after the meeting.
So
Okay.
absent with notice, yeah. On page 1, the heading Lauren Properties Site Plan Review Application.
Got it.
Again, I think we need to be sure that we clarify in minutes what property we're referring to. That is the owner of the property, but and I don't have the address and the tax map lot number with me, but that should be inserted there.
Yeah, insert the property tax card.
That needs to,
We need
Yes.
to
Yeah,
add.
along with 19 Mill Street,
Yeah.
or 19 Hill Avenue.
plus address.
Yeah, we need to add that.
Now, is it Lauren Properties, or does that need to change also?
I would
You want properties
leave
to
that,
stay
but
in.
put in parentheses at the end of that, the address and the tax map lot number.
Got it.
You want the same thing for the 146 Main Street, want the tax map number there?
Yes, yeah. And I'm saying this because having had to look at old minutes from 5-10 years ago and trying to understand what they're referring to and where that property is, it's very,
Oh,
very confusing.
It makes
So-
sense.
So any place that we have an owner's name and a address, please put in the tax lot number
Always do that.
for now on.
Yeah. And that can come from the application in
Yep.
that case, yeah.
Okay, I got that.
Page 2. Second paragraph that's, second full paragraph. That starts out, James Spanos advised the board that all concerns.
Yep.
Okay. Fourth sentence that starts out, the former church hall has been renovated into 2 3-bedroom apartments. 2 3-bedroom apartments. The next sentence,
I would also put the tax number there because it's gonna get very confusing because there are 3 different things we're doing and there are 2 different tax numbers.
multiple lots,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, so get the T
Well,
out.
yeah. The next sentence, the former church building is being, not has been, it's in the process. The former church building, right after the sentence, which is,
Has.
former church building is being renovated and has not, into, again, it's 2 3-bedroom apartments.
Into 2.
2 3-bedroom apartments,
I will make that change.
as well as,
I would change that to the former church hall or church vestry. It's the
no, this is
sanctuary.
referring to the church itself.
I know, but it's a sanctuary that is being moved into 2 3-bedrooms. The rest of the connected building is a 5-bedroom apartment.
Right, but he said that in the church building itself.
Yeah.
There are gonna be 2 3-bedroom apartments and a studio apartment,
Right, but the whole building is one building.
the church building.
Right, the church, there's actually going to be 4 apartments in there. You have the 2, you have the 3 that are in the former rectory.
The residence,
The residence
Is
is
a separate-
it's attached building.
it's an attached building,
Yeah.
but it's considered a separate.
Okay,
I think they're probably going to, I would imagine,
they have not,
they, at some point, but
because they share the furnaces.
yeah, but that former residence is one apartment, or one house.
It is one house.
Yes.
But it is connected
Yes.
to the other building and will not be separated because of the
Okay.
shared heating sources.
But within the church itself,
Right, that's why I say you
It'll be
should
2,
clarify the 2.
it's going to be 2 3-bedroom apartments and a studio apartment.
Correct.
And that's, okay.
Yeah.
And,
Church.
and
In
the
the
house is separate.
And the house is a separate residence.
connected.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so the former rectory.
No, the former church building.
The
Former church building.
yeah,
It's being
Is being
renovated
renovated.
into two
yep,
3-bedroom apartments as well as a separate complete studio apartment. You don't need
Got
it, you don't need it in the church
I got
building
it,
again.
I got it. I'm with you.
Under Granite Ridge Project, Thompson Street, Michael Latula, section.
Yep, that has to have a TML.
I made the motion, and I think we need to add that Chris Genosa seconded the motion.
Let's see.
You could say Mardine Badger made a motion to accept the Brown Engineering estimate of $129,000, et cetera,
Yep.
for a
Made motion,
restoration bond.
Yep.
And that the restoration bond will be in the form of a letter of credit from a local bank.
Yep.
Then insert Chris Genosa seconded the motion.
Got it.
The motion passed. And I would add one more sentence
Yep.
that says a construction bond will be established upon the sale of the first lot. That was
Construction.
a construction bond will be established upon the sale of the first lot. On page 3, third paragraph.
Can it be revised?
Yes. The third sentence, further discussion between the planning board and the electric company needs to take place. That's, I would- okay, it's on the third line.
To meet with the electric company. Discussion.
Further discussion, cross out that sentence, further discussion. It's the same thing as the sentence before.
Take it out.
And the last thing, again, spelling of Donna Licurdo's last name throughout has to be corrected.
Okay, now the correct spelling is?
Locurto. Okay, I'm done.
Right.
I'll make those
Does
corrections.
anyone else have any?
Anything else?
Katie, was Andy present at that meeting?
Andy was not present at that meeting.
He stated that he was absent.
No, he's an alternate.
He's not, okay. He's the other alternate stated.
Mhm.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, do we have a motion to accept these as amended?
Yes. I make a
Okay.
motion.
Tricia makes that. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Mardine seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Or actually abstaining, one abstaining.
Got it. One extension.
Who's saying who? Andy.
Andy Fitch will be abstaining. Okay. Are we ready for new business?
Yes, sir.
Before we get started in new business, I have something to read for the audience. Thank you all for being here tonight. Your participation is essential in making this process work smoothly. In our previous meeting, we held a design review, which was a public hearing. Tonight, however, is a planning board meeting and the focus is different. The purpose of tonight's planning board meeting is to review the applications for a 4-lot subdivision and a site plan application for the property located at 35 Mill Pond Lane. Our role tonight is to determine if these applications are complete, and if complete, to identify any conditions that may be needed in accordance with our ordinance and New Hampshire state law. This will also This will also allow the board the opportunity to see if any third-party professional is needed to review the impacts of the various areas of both applications. There have been a number of meetings to actually discuss whether or not to approve. There will be another meeting to actually discuss how we move forward. This is not a public hearing, so I ask everyone in attendance to refrain from disruptions. Please submit any comments that you have in writing. Send them to the board at landusepd@ashland.nh.gov so they can be added to the public record. Currently, I have these, which will be scanned and added to the minutes for the public record. If time allows, we will also be working on updating our zoning articles that will be presented to voters at town meeting. I encourage you to stay to contribute your thoughts to these changes. Again, submit any comments to landusepd@ashland.nh.gov. This will ensure that your input is considered and reflected in our ordinances. Yes, ma'am.
If we previously submitted a letter, how do we know?
It's right in here,
You have, okay, thank you.
okay?
Yep.
We got lots of them. All right, that being said, we move to application for subdivision, extension of Mill Pond Lane, creation of 4 single-family house lots and additional tract for affordable housing development, 35 Mill Pond Lane, Ashland, New Hampshire, 03217. This is the abutters notice that was sent out to all of the abutters. We do have a list of the abutters if anyone wants to take a look at that. And they were instructed to be here as you are tonight. That moves us to the application. Have you all had an opportunity to review the application? And what are our comments on it?
I believe it has all of the relevant information that we need to begin consideration of the application. So I will make a motion to accept the application as complete so that it can be considered.
Okay. We have a motion to accept the subdivision application as complete. Do I have a second at this time? Do I have further discussion at this time? We're going to take a minute to review over some stuff, I think.
The application, in my opinion, the application form is filled out properly. There are submitted plans for the subdivision. Abutters were notified. Fees were paid. And by accepting the application as complete, that basically says that the information, there is sufficient information here for us to begin consideration. It does not mean that we finish. Each of these applications is a long process. Each has, when we start an application, the applicant presents the information, and that often, and for something of this caliber, these applications are going to be, the applicant's presentation of information is going to be extensive.
very extensive.
We're gonna have questions and so on.
Yeah.
But we can't start that until we accept the application as complete.
Correct.
And if we feel there is sufficient information available to do that,
Yep.
that is our first step.
Jane, do you have everything that you were required to get for the subdivision application only?
I believe everything was submitted with the subdivision, yes.
Okay. Paula, do you have any questions or concerns?
At this time.
Tricia, with the subdivision application?
No, at this time.
Andy?
Not at this time.
Okay, do I have a second on the motion to accept the application as complete?
To clarify for the public, that doesn't mean we're approving it.
This only
Yes.
means,
We put it in the docket to begin to consider it. That's what
Right.
we're doing.
so I will second the motion that this application is complete and we can start to the process of evaluating it. All those in favor of accepting this as a completed application, say aye. We'll do that by roll call. Paula? I say aye. Mardine?
Aye.
Tricia?
Aye.
And Andy?
Aye.
Okay, motion, there is none opposed, all motion passes unanimously. This brings us to application for site plan review. 76 unit affordable housing, affordable multifamily housing development, 35 Mill Pond Lane, Ashland, New Hampshire. Again, I have the abutters notice, which was sent out to everyone. And we do have a list if anyone wants to inspect it. I have some reservations on some of this. It has been brought to my attention that you're 10 feet off on your floodplain maps. Were you aware of that?
Am I allowed to speak?
I'm asking a question for you.
I know I wasn't aware of that, no one should have yet, and my knowledge, the floodplain was provided by the surveyor, and he certified that.
Okay,
If there's some question about it, we certainly would entertain,
Yeah,
anything we have,
we will discuss this later then, yes. Okay.
okay?
Do we have any other questions or concerns with this? Jane, did you receive everything that you needed to?
I feel that the plan, some of the plans don't reflect that easement to the property that has the dam on it.
Okay.
In looking at them further, I did see where it is recited. I did not receive anything from the owner of the property that has the dam, acknowledging whether he was aware or in agreement with the fact that they're rerouting the Woods Road and
Okay, but
how-
that will be discussed later. Once we have accepted the plan, we can move forward with that.
Excellent, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, there are new owners to the dam as well, so we do need to do that as well.
The only other items they say are pending are the driveway permits from the state and letters from the fire chief, police, and building inspector, and dredge and fill, and site-specific permits from DES. But they are pending, it says.
Right, 5.4A, all necessary permits have been received from the government agencies for which approval is required by federal and state law, including sections 404 of the Federal Water Pollution Control Act and Amendment of 1972, 33 USC 1334. That is pending. we do need to have that, especially in consideration of this is part of the flood plan stuff.
Often with any typical project, a lot of those things come along during the process of going through the project and the specifications.
Mhm.
Those typically do not hold up
The,
acceptance of the application.
my concern is that it is part of the floodplain and it says that all necessary permits have been received. We have not received those. I have no problem on the other pending ones, which are the driveway permits from the state of New Hampshire, the letter from the town officials, and the dredge and fill of the site. But the floodplain is extremely important because there are multiple rivers that flood into this. Although you only identified one river, there were actually 2 rivers that flood into this. It has been an issue in the past. I'm very concerned about that. So I believe we have to receive that first.
My other concern is at the end of the narrative where they talk about environmental and they're indicating that, looks like remediation will work simultaneous with construction and, in phasers, but I thought some of that should be done prior to construction beginning.
Yeah, the remitting of the hazardous waste, that needs to be done before any of the Habitat for Humanity buildings are built, as well as any place where children are going to be playing and so forth. We need a clean bill of health on that.
Something like that would be a condition of approval.
It could very well be, yes.
Yeah, not necessarily, again, not necessarily holding up acceptance of the application.
Mhm.
Again, also, various permits from federal and state agencies typically do not hold up acceptance of the application, but again, they would be very common conditions of approval that those be received.
But are we comfortable saying we're gonna waive that? I'm not sure, because that's what, we have to either say, it says waived by planning board, yes or no, and it's pending. So I don't know
I
if we're
would at
comfortable
least
doing
like
that.
to have seen
Yeah,
that they had applied for it.
yeah, I'm not
Because
sure
I-
about that.
Can I have that letter?
I don't think they're asking us that we waive it. If they had asked, if they had asked us to waive that requirement, we should have had a request to waive that. We have not.
Exactly,
So
yeah, I
it's-
fully
yeah,
agree,
it's
but I have a
exactly-
letter from the Department of Environmental Services saying that they haven't even seen an application yet.
Okay.
Nothing has been given to them, and that's my concern.
Which particular permit are you referring to?
This is the wetlands permit. Through the wetlands board.
As an example, with Michael Latula's project on Thompson Street, all of those things were, permits were applied for during the process of our discussion.
Mhm.
And
It's that it says pending is my problem with this,
that's,
because this here letter says she hasn't even gotten it yet.
What was the waiver of road standard, was that for the subdivision?
Yeah, but that's again a condition once we get into it.
Yeah.
What are you saying, you would want to see evidence that.
If they've at least applied for it. Yep. Seeing where it says that they have.
but typically all those permits, whether it's alteration of terrain or wetlands permit, those are those definitely will be in process during the consideration of this project. They are not, all applications are not submitted necessarily before the application is filed.
Mhm.
Those come up, those sometimes, as I said, some of those may end up as conditions of approval if they are still in process. But during the course of our discussion of all the specifications and details of the project, it's, sometimes things change and they've got to adapt how they apply for the permit or the details they put in their application.
Okay.
So I don't think we can necessarily say we have to have an application before we even accept the.
Can I just ask clarification? However, if that were not to come through, that would then be an obstacle to approval.
Right. Yeah, when we, if after all the discussion of the project and whether there's tweaking of any of the specifications in detail, all through that process, if in the end the project is approved, there are often conditions of approval. And one of the typical condition of approval is that all DES permits are approved. And getting those permits is a long process. An application goes in, they send back a request for more information. So more information is provided, things are adjusted, and so on. It's a long process for those.
I understand that. All right. Do we have a motion?
Did somebody make a motion to accept this
No.
Not yet.
application?
No, you accepted the last
All right,
No.
hold on just a moment. Kevin?
I just want to make a couple of quick comments. One, I want you to realize that the plans and the plan notes identify all state permits that are required, so we're telling you, we listed out those permits that you referred to, and are acknowledging that those permits are needed. And we're absolutely navigating the process to apply for those permits. It would be premature of me to be applying for those permits now, because we need to make sure that what I'm seeking for approval is kosher with what the board wants and what the regulations say, and kind of where we all meet in the middle, right? And so, I think I mentioned to you last time we were here that we have had a pre-application meeting, we met with folks at Wetlands, they had some concerns and questions, and we are working with some more survey work, and we are hoping to get feedback from the board and the public. And when we have a plan that is, it seems like we've got kind of buy-in from kind of all the parties, then we'll be preparing comprehensive applications to the entities that you're talking about. And obviously we need those permits before we're able to do anything, and it would absolutely be reasonable for all those things to be a condition of any approval down the road. I just wanted to point that out to you.
Do we have any motions or any further discussion?
I'll make a motion to accept the application for site plan review as complete.
Okay.
And ready for consideration.
And do we have a second? Do we have a second on the site plan application to accept it as complete so that we can move forward to evaluate the entire project? Do you need a minute to think about that? Paula, what are your concerns? Tricia, do you have concerns at this point on accepting the application so that we can move forward?
No.
Okay. Andy, do you have any issues with moving forward?
I'd like to see that the permits have been requested. After listening to Mardine, I'm not really sure whether whether I'm putting the cart ahead of the horse.
Andy, I'm having problems hearing what you're saying.
I'm of two minds here after listening to you. I'm wondering if we have to have evidence that the permits have been applied for. That's my concern, but after listening to you, I'm wondering if I'm getting the cart ahead of the horse. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like why is it a part of this checklist if it's not required in some way, shape, or form? I guess that's a good question, Andy, right? Like what he was saying. We have this in our statute.
I understand that this is in our statute, and I agree with you, because originally, as I stated, I was opposed to this because it is in the statute the way it is written. However, Mardine is correct, so isn't Kevin, that you cannot apply for and receive these without first having an accepted application so that they know that they can apply for them. So it really is kind of putting the cart before the horse on that.
Yeah. I
So,
think so.
so again, this is only to accept the application so that we can move forward to evaluate the plan on its merits. So, with that said,
I do have a question. Why is it that the fire chief, the public works, the police, the town utilities, the building inspector, and the food inspector, why is that pending?
with talking with some of them, first of all, the food inspector is irrelevant.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm just reading up. I'm just wondering why that's pending.
That
Like,
is just a letter from them saying that they have seen or reviewed it. They have not actually seen or reviewed it yet, because again, that is putting the cart before the horse. You have to accept the application before we can move on to give them the plans and everything to ask for their comments,
Yeah.
which they will have many comments on.
I'm thinking we need to look at our checklist.
I think we have to look at our checklist as well. Marlene, do you have any comments to that?
No, obviously, again, as we go through all the elements of the plan, from drainage to utilities and everything, things get changed, things get tweaked, things get refined. As we go through that process, yes, will we want input from water and sewer and from electric department? Absolutely, once they see what these plans are and how they get changed. They can't necessarily comment before they even receive the plans. We've just received the plans.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just saying that I think we need to look at our checklist, so it's not.
I would also say that this checklist is one checklist for everything that comes before the planning board.
Yeah, no, I
And
understand.
there are some things which are much simpler than this. This is a very complex, very hard, and very technical to understand. And I'm not sure that we have the expertise to be able to fully understand this. So we need to look at this to see if we can accept the application as complete so that we can send it on to be better evaluated. Are we in agreement with that? Okay. With that said, we have a motion on the floor to accept the site plan application as complete so that we can move on to have the entire project evaluated. Do I have a second to move on?
I'll make the second.
Okay, I have a second to move on. All of those in favor of accepting the site plan application as complete so that we may move on to fully evaluate this, I will again go roll call. I will start by myself saying I agree that it is complete to move on. Andy?
I agree.
Tricia? Mardine?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Okay, so we will accept the application as complete. With that said, I believe that we are also in agreement that this is a very complex application, that the board will need a third party to help us review this project to make sure that it is within the town regulations. And we have previously talked with Brown Engineering to be a third-party reviewer. They will review all materials, everything will be submitted to them. They will issue a report to the planning board on this submittal. This will also include, but not limited to, all studies that are needed, as directed by the planning board. Are we in agreement to that?
Yes,
Yes.
I make that motion that we do this. Do I have a second?
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Kevin,
Yes.
Brown Engineering will be your third-party reviewer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to submit everything to them. Jane will be submitting what you have submitted to us to them.
Okay.
Okay, and they will review everything, and they will start the studies that are needed. We do need a study finish the study on the impact with the school. Correct me if I'm wrong on the board. The school, the water system, sewer system, electrical system, public roads, the access points, and the, is there anything else?
So I just want to make sure I understood you. The town is going to hire Brown Engineering to do the impact study?
As a third party,
Okay, I'm
independent.
just making sure I'm following what you're saying, that's all.
They will be the third party independent reviewer.
And who
There are-
pay, excuse me, but the town doesn't pay, does the applicant pay
Right,
for that?
through you.
Right, so typically you guys would ask for some sort of escrow, which the developer would post on your, on the applicant's behalf in your possession to pay for consultants.
Correct.
My question is, I don't believe that Brown Engineering does fiscal impact studies,
They
so. Huh?
They do, we've already talked with them about it.
Okay,
You said fiscal?
that's what I asked, yeah.
They have the expertise to be able to do it, they have assured us of all the studies needed. And they will hire subcontractors as needed.
Okay. So moving forward, the information we've presented so far, you will get to them? Moving forward?
The information that you have submitted to us,
Yep,
full package, we will submit to them.
yep,
They will review, and they will make reports back to this board.
yep.
They will be talking with you to get any additional information that they need for that review.
Okay. As you can imagine, we're navigating, as we mentioned before, we're navigating, working with all the agencies that we're gonna need approvals from at the state level and are sort of progressively embellishing or adding content to the plan that may become, you know,
Yep, you will submit them to us and to Brown Engineering.
so like, before the next meeting, I envision that we might submit an updated set of plans, which we could submit directly to you and to the town, or to Brown, if that's what you want. Sort of skipping ahead a little, or skipping into a slightly different subject, the idea that the department heads need to get packaged this material, do you have adequate number of copies to get that material to them now, or do you need us to provide additional information, more
I
copies?
think everything I had, well, the board has what we have, so it would be easier if you provided them.
Well, we also have those up
Oh,
there
yeah, I
too.
have plenty of plans.
I believe we have enough of the plans that you have submitted to us for this meeting
Okay,
that we can get them to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they probably would like to look at the
The
large.
bigger ones, yes.
Yes, I'm sure they would. And that also will include the hazardous materials. They will review that as well.
so, between when I originally submitted and now, you know, a few weeks ago, I digitally submitted the environmental site assessment, which I told the Novus Group was preparing. It's a 700-page document.
Yep.
This is one full set of the first
Do
report.
you have that in a PDF file rather than a,
I believe that's what we gave you.
It's on the thumb drive.
It's on the
oh,
front
you got
drive.
it on thumb drive also?
Okay.
Okay,
The problem I had was downloading it.
right, so the one I tried to download was the web page one,
From the sheriff file, yeah.
and I could not access that, so I didn't realize it was on the thumb
But when
drive.
I downloaded it from the thumb drive, it's too large for our server to handle sending.
Right.
it.
You should be able to, if the sheriff file links that come from my office, if
Yeah.
you put your name and email in there, you should be able to pull it down to your local computer.
Yeah, we tried to get into it, we couldn't. could be a problem with our server, quite frankly.
So here's the question. Here's the whole report, the whole
Yep.
entire phase one, which I corresponded with Jane about. We were planning to have the author of this report here tonight. We've postponed that to a future meeting.
Yep.
This is the narrative to the report, and this is all the appendices that support the report. We have 9 copies of the narrative and 1 copy of the whole report. If you guys need more copies of this, or I guess just us know.
Are you guys good with that?
I think the narrative
The narrative's
would be
probably-
good, and if we wanna look at the
We'll give you a good
data
reading.
Right.
We can stop
it.
Yes, and I do need a full report of that sent to Brown.
That's not a problem.
And do we want Jane CC on everything they send around going forward?
Yeah, well, I did say that, but, yeah.
Is that some, I should be able to copy that from Roger, so that it's not protected at all?
It should be able to pull right off of that, yeah.
All right, thanks.
And as Tricia pointed out, everything you send to Brown, we want CC to
Of
land
course,
use.
I want to make sure that
Yep.
anything that goes out of my office goes to both of you.
Okay. Whoops, sorry.
So this is the phase one, are they now working on what'll be their next step?
They're working towards that. They're trying to get authorizations, Eric, you have it on that order?
Yeah, so the,
I have a question.
Police and Planning Commission is actually, they are the ones that hired Novus.
Yes.
Through the Brownfield money. So they have approved the work scope for the phase 2, so we're working on getting that scheduled.
Okay. I believe that completes the,
Do you want to make a suggestion as to what date you want to?
that is going to largely depend upon the reports given to us by Brown Engineering.
But we should indicate a continuance to
Yes,
a date certain.
yes. So,
And yes, it can be adjusted if something happens, but I think officially we need to continue.
right, we will continue this meeting. I am,
You have the November 6th or November 20, and then there's December 4th
Yeah,
and December
yeah.
18th.
all right. So I'm gonna say, we're gonna continue this to December 4th.
Okay.
Because we have the holiday and everything in the middle of that, and we need to have a further discussion on our meeting schedule for the end of November because of the holiday. All right. Yes, sir.
I just want to ask the question because we're trying to provide the board information. We want to get the environmental engineer here. We also want to get the traffic engineer here. Originally, we were planning to do the environmental engineer tonight. We were kind of told to wave off on that, so we did. But is it reasonable on the 4th for us to have at least one of those, or maybe both those parties here? I mean,
Yes.
I can imagine that either one of those conversations might be an hour conversation or whatever, but I feel like to advance that kind of everyone's understanding what's going on and what the reports say, and there's a lot of information there, getting the experts that authored them would be valuable.
The 4th would be the appropriate time to do
Okay,
that.
we'll plan on that. Thank you.
And I think I looked at for instance, the traffic impact, the traffic study. That's whatever we can have as an initial explanation of things like that. Whether it's the phase one, the environmental or the traffic. Because reading, I think we need the experts here to at least give us an overall view of it first before we can begin to figure out what questions we have.
And who are these experts?
These people here,
Novus?
the environmental,
Yeah.
and possibly the traffic people. That plan has been before the DOT?
No, it hasn't.
Okay.
Again, it goes back to,
Okay.
it's very common for us,
No, that's fine, I was just asking if it had, that's all.
It hasn't.
Okay. Yeah.
Can
So,
you make a motion about continuing to December 4 or is consensus okay?
Does that depend too on what we get back from Brown, or
it
we
will
can wait?
depend what we get back from Brown, but they will be able to give us at least a preliminary by the 4th.
Brown has confirmed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But can we, is it possible for us to continue this meeting to December 4th?
Yes.
And then what we can do is if things don't come together as we can then continue it again.
There will be multiple continuations of this meeting
There
for
will
now
be. I'm
going
just
forward
saying for
for the
this one.
foreseeable future. Because this is going to be very
Yep.
long. I believe you will agree with that statement?
I totally agree.
It's already been long.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay.
do we have to make a motion to continue or not?
I will entertain a motion to continue until December 4th.
I will continue the Mill Pond project discussion to December 4th meeting.
And with consultation from Brown. Do I have a second to
I'll
that motion?
second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Who's second?
Andy, second the motion. All those in favor, everyone has indicated aye. Opposed, and motion passes. Also, if you could note in the minutes that Donna has arrived for the meeting.
So,
All right,
I wondered, KB, if, Paula, if you should make a note, it's actually 2 applications that have been continued, so we understand it wasn't just the project.
correct, both applications.
Right.
Thank you for that clarification. All right, I believe that moves us on to our next thing. All right. Again, all of, any comments and everything, please send them to landusepd@ashland.nh.gov, and they will be added to the minutes of this meeting.
Which also means they'll be posted online, so you can see if your comments are there, or you can read what everybody else is thinking.
And they will be kept forever and ever and ever.
And their pros and cons, they're all equal.
Yes. Okay. We have no other further correspondence, correct? Moving on to old business. I have a budget change request. Well, actually, we're gonna take 5 minutes.
Mass exodus.
We can reconvene.
Let's do it.
So due to the complexity of this, we are running into a slight budget problem, and it has been brought to my attention that we should increase the hours of the land use secretary from 6 hours a week to 8 hours a week. That understanding that there will be times that she will be working more like 10 hours, and there will be times that she'll be working less. But initially, she is working a lot more than that. Trust me, I've been up the office with her. Tom can probably attest to that too. And she will also be working with the zoning board as well. So they will have to vote on this as well. But I'd like to increase the budget to reflect 8 hours a week for 52 weeks. Are we good with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Increase budget to,
For the land use assistant,
yeah, I got the land use assistant.
from 6 hours a week to 8 hours a week.
6 to 8.
Can
I've
I
got
ask
it elsewhere, I'm just verifying.
just a clarification question?
What?
A clarification question. I support it.
Yep.
I'm not voting, but I support it, but just, is that for next year's budget?
This is for 2025 budget. Yes.
Okay.
Next budget request change is that in our current budget, we have enough money to send 2 people for training. That includes our board as well as the zoning board, the ZBA. It has been suggested that we move that to be able to send 6 people for training because both boards have some very new people on it. the training is the land use conference, which is coming up. We're currently only able to send 2 people to it. So I'd like to increase that budget by 120 times 6 or $720, which kills me to do this, but I think it's extremely important that we have the training behind us so that it helps.
So the new amount on that line is 720 or the increase?
The new amount would be 720 instead of 300.
What was the new amount of the land use assistant?
I have to figure that out. $10,400.
That's the new amount, okay.
Yeah, it's basically, I believe, $2,000 over last year. It really does, I really do not like doing this, but I really feel that we have no choice. We are currently almost over budget as it is, and we still have 2 months to go, so.
And it's a blessing to have you
Yeah.
here doing the work, so thank you.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a motion to make those changes? I so move to make those changes. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We have the Mylar for Granite Ridge, which Paula and I are going to sign at the end of this meeting. Everything was agreed to do that at our last meeting.
And that's for, excuse me, that's for what?
The Granite Ridge subdivision. All right.
Only thing I need to know.
The continuation of the existing zoning ordinances. Those maps that you asked me to get, I do have them. They're actually sitting out in my truck and I can go run and get them if you'd like. What I have also done, although I only have one copy of this, I have found every single deed for the properties from Albrook Road to the lot just before Morrill Drive, right on the corner, because
Yeah.
the other one, it's on the
Yeah.
corner, you can't do anything.
Yeah. Is there anything in there?
So I've read through all the deeds, you're more than welcome to read through them. The one deed, there's one deed which goes back to 1900. I have trouble finding the original deed from there, but it turns out that in the mid-2000s, they bought some land and had it moved into, so I have that deed. So, and I have the plot plan showing it. So that works out good. The other deed that is in question is the deed for Michael LaTulip from Ed Hubbard, which what they had was they had a very large lot. They subdivided that lot into 2 lots. The one lot has restrictions on it that cannot have commercial building on it.
Yeah.
But it does not restrict, and the actual driveway would be off Albrook Road, not off Route 3. However, looking at it, you could do a driveway off Route 3, but as a mixed use, it would still work for them. Okay? And that's a 8-page deed. So if anyone wants to look at these, you're more than welcome to. No, it was fun. It took me a couple hours.
Just.
Well, I have access to the registry. If you'd like, I can go get that map.
Did you send some small maps?
I did send all the small
Okay.
maps that show everything in the big map.
Okay.
But there is one, I highlighted the one right after Morrill Drive, and we wouldn't be doing that because of the corner. It's too sharp of a corner to put a driveway in. And the banking is a steep banking right there anyways. So it would end at the end of what we know as McCormick's Field, which has had multiple signs and everything there in the past. The other change which I would suggest is just adding a mixed use, because I read what you said about the sign ordinance, and I would propose that we change that and allow them to do the 200-foot signs, because on the driveway and everything, that would be good. A 50-foot sign versus a 75-foot sign, because like first of all, that's below the tree level for all of his property, and secondly, that would be logical for the marina, which would also be part of this district, because it would allow marinas, because right now they're in a rural residential district. It actually doesn't allow marinas; they're just grandfathered.
Yeah, they existed long before.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
With sign dimensions, are there any sort of aesthetic considerations that we need to take?
We can definitely add those as needed. But basically, I was taking my suggestion would be to take the existing commercial 2 under 3.3, I believe it is. Copy that, just change the height requirement from 75 feet down to 50 feet. I actually was able to see what 75 feet looks versus 50 feet, and it's really not as high as one would think. It's well below the height of most of the trees there.
Do you want to give any consideration to whether or not these can be lighted or not? Like some of these, like where Swan Lakes Plumbing used to be, for
Yep.
instance. I mean, that one.
I believe the
it's
town
okay,
has,
it's not, but what's the
and
right
Tom,
thing?
maybe you can correct me on this. The town has an ordinance about lit signs currently.
I believe so, but
Yeah, I believe the town has an ordinance that no more lit signs in town.
Okay.
Like internal lit, like neon lit. They can have lights onto the signs, but they can't be internal lit.
Because
You
the
need to
one-
double check that, but I believe that was an ordinance which was passed back around 2009.
Is that on the list of ordinances that are on the website?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe so. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Tom's the one that has to approve them, but
I need to.
we'll need to double check that.
Yeah.
But it would go with the current ordinances as far as that goes. Yeah.
The large map.
Yep.
That you said you had, could you maybe leave those in the land use room upstairs?
I was going to,
So
I
that
just.
we can then, we can stop in and look at them.
So the original one is back up on the wall there.
Okay, okay.
The other ones that you asked if I could have made, I had them made, I brought them to this meeting tonight so that we
Okay.
could, and then I will bring them back to the land use board.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my
And-
intent.
And you've got different colors for different zones,
They're
right?
not colored,
They're not colored.
they're not colored.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the only way I can color them is the way that, which I did with all those small ones.
Yeah.
Let me go get those, I'll be right back.
Kendall, I just checked the town ordinances that are on the website.
I
Yeah.
couldn't find them either.
There's nothing related to signs there.
I was literally over here just doing the same thing. I was like, I wonder.
Yeah. So if
Somewhere,
there is an ordinance,
somewhere there is
it needs,
a.
things need to be coordinated.
Right, correct, 100% agree.
That's why we're looking at a new website,
Yes.
Yeah,
web provider,
Yes, it
whatever you wanna call it. I'm not computer illiterate. Any side of the imagination.
I don't know, I'll have to look into that, but to comply with all relevant sign things would be my proposal. This went faster than I thought it would. I wasn't really prepared for this.
Well, I mean, we were gonna talk about getting a working session on the books, right?
Yes,
To
yes, we are.
Get a working session on the books outside of the regular meetings to kind of talk through
So-
the updates we've been working on.
So I would propose that November 12th, which is a Tuesday,
No, stop doing Tuesdays.
Maybe that's the annual historical society meeting.
I understand that.
Okay, just wanna let you know.
There it is. So alternately, I would propose the 14th
Of what month?
of November.
What about the 13th?
I cannot do the
Okay.
13th.
The 14th?
So would the 14th work for everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so what is this for?
That will be a work session only to work on zoning ordinance
Okay,
reviews,
okay.
okay?
Posted meeting,
Yes.
Yeah.
In talking with the town attorney, one of the problems that we have in our zoning ordinance is we use multiple terms to describe stuff throughout the ordinance, where there's no consistency, and that is a problem for the attorneys. The other thing is, we just need to have consistency, and our list of definitions needs to reflect those terms, because it currently does not.
Are there particular terms that we should be keeping in mind?
Residence versus dwellings, apartments versus, I forget how they word it in multiple family dwellings.
Would it be possible to get a list of those so it's working on
It's
it?
we're gonna do that on the 14th when we go
Okay.
through the zoning ordinance.
Okay, so the 14th at 6:30.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
and the place will be to be announced. I have to check with the water and sewer, but it'll most likely be there. Okay. All right, the last meeting of the month.
What day is it?
I'm sorry, November.
The 20th?
Is there any way that we can move it from the 20th to a different day? I would propose the 25th or the 26th, which
I
is
can do either.
Monday or Tuesday.
I can do either.
I can do either.
November?
Of November.
25th or 26th?
Yeah, I know that's Thanksgiving week, and that's why I'm proposing the 25th rather than, the 27th is when it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
but that's the
Wait.
day before Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and I know people have some
Yeah.
things then. Neither Trish or I can make the 20th is a problem.
I like the 25th, but I don't count, I'm just an alternate.
No, you do count.
Don't tell her that.
I know. She carries a gun, yeah.
Stop.
The 20th, it's the 25th, Monday the 25th work for everybody.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Monday the
6:30?
25th, 6:30 at the building.
And we're not gonna have the one on the 20th.
Correct.
Correct.
Sorry, if I don't put it on our digital calendar,
Yep.
I won't be
Doesn't happen.
present at this meeting.
If it's not
Because
on
I
the
won't
calendar, it
have
doesn't
been
happen, right?
Do I have to post the cancellation of the November 20 meeting then, Katie?
You haven't posted it yet, have you?
Okay.
The website will be updated though,
The
right?
website.
Website will be updated, yes.
Yeah. Maybe on the website where it has November 20th listed,
That's called
Put-
scheduling.
cancel or move to.
That's everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, move to the
Yeah,
schedule,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a good idea. Okay, all right, so we're set for the 14th, working session.
14th and 25th.
Literally
Okay.
ruins our lives.
Um,
It's like you-
And on the
recording
14th,
yourself.
On the 14th, we're gonna come
I'm
with all the materials that we've been drafting to work through.
Yes,
and
all
then-
the stuff that you've been drafting with,
Ridiculously.
and be prepared to discuss and to add stuff to the definitions that we're going to need.
Okay.
Should we send anything we've done, I'm assuming we should send them digitally to Jane. I had brought printout copies, but Trish didn't have it because she, so like the article, the
Yeah,
special,
yeah.
should I send that to
Yeah, if you
Jane?
could, that way we have a digital record of it, and that's probably a good thing, as we're learning. Okay,
Can I ask, if anything, if any of these drafts and so on are printed out at the town office, can we please print double-sided?
yes, can we try to print everything
Please print
double-sided?
double-sided.
Minutes as well?
Safe
Yeah.
agreed.
I'm just trying to save some paper, especially when we get things that are 700 and
Yeah,
900
yeah.
pages long.
Yeah.
I mean, I did appreciate the fact that he brought this, just one copy of the 700-page document, that it's an environmental study.
Yeah.
Same. That made me giggle.
All right,
And it's to be shared.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Do we have any questions on that proposed zone?
No.
Right. So, if, that being said, then what we will work on, also on the 14th, I'll have a proposal for you to define mixed use, what's allowed, that we'll discuss all of that, so that we can move forward with it and get that finalized for the warrant. So I can get that off to the attorney.
Okay.
Okay?
And then to confirm, in preparation for the 14th, any of the updates that we've made digitally, we can send to Jane and she'll print
Yep.
out for folks. Do we want those printed out for everyone to look at? Is that the idea?
Yeah, we probably will need them printed out for our meeting.
Do keep in mind that printer is black and white, so if you do red line,
Right.
But the big one downstairs is the color.
I can get onto it, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Good one.
All right.
Can I send it from upstairs down there? Ryan?
I think so. Ask them. I think Susan used to.
Kendall, what was the second proposal? One was define mixed use, what's allowed, but there was a second one.
Just preparing everything so that we can get it ready for town warrant and to send it to the attorney for their review, which is part of getting it ready for town warrant. And you're working on the solar?
Yeah, well, the updates to 9
Okay,
and the solar, but you submitted solar to the electric department and I'm waiting for their feedback.
okay. I will,
If you can facilitate or
I will-
connect me with who I should be reaching with there.
Harry Gowan,
Okay.
the superintendent.
But so, yeah, I'll reach out to see.
And maybe more importantly, Megan.
Okay.
Megan Semio? Semio. She's on the board of selectmen. She is there.
I understand that, but wasn't there some sort of issue there with the solar stuff? Her weighing in on the ordinance
No.
there or not? Okay.
No.
Okay.
And you were working on
I'm
the,
working on short-term rentals and I've got all the pieces, now I'm trying to extract what the list of things we really need to think about are, so I can then do a draft of an addition to Article 4.
short-term rentals is a huge issue, and it's gonna become a much bigger issue, especially in the building inspector's world, along with alternative ADUs. So, that's why we're looking at short-term rentals, okay? Our ordinance does not address it, and it's something which towns around us are having major issues with. So we're just trying to get ahead of the curve on that one. Yes, please, thank you.
As I run into that issue in another community and looking at the definition of a residential use is being non-transient. And if, and therefore, under that definition, it rules out short-term rentals. So, but I guess the underlying premise seems to be, as a community, do you want to prohibit them, or do you want to allow them and manage them? So I think that that's the first decision is is it going to be prohibited or is it going to be regulated?
Right. Yep. Okay. Can you identify yourself, please?
Yes, Tom Newcomb, the building inspector.
Okay. All right. Just so everyone knows who you are.
Yeah.
And Bethany is working with me on the zoning thing, which I just presented. Paula is working on the Article 1, which
I
is...
looked at Article 1, it looks to me, I've looked at it 3 times, but it looks to me that we would be best keeping it as it is. But I have looked at Ashland, New Hampton, and Holderness.
Have you looked at Plymouth?
I believe I have,
Okay.
but theirs includes a whole lot of things. I'll look again.
Yeah.
But I got the impression that Plymouth includes a whole lot of things that would not necessarily
Right, but the very first part of it is very similar to ours, but I think it's worded a more updated wording. That's all.
I can
So
check it.
I'll show you what I mean later. And Jane, you're working on getting the charrette and the hopefully for the late spring. We had talked about doing that. We're going to. One of the major problems that we are going to be facing and has been identified to us is that the master plan is now 14, about to be 15 years old. In order to enforce it, it has to be within 10 years. So the charrette is a major, major portion of getting that updated and getting the vision for the community moving forward. Just like you just said with the short-term rentals and everything, that's going to be a major portion within that, I would imagine. The charrette will help us to define that for upcoming zone ordinances. Though we're going to do some this year, I anticipate that we will probably be doing a much larger thing next year because we're going to work the entire year on this in the master plan, unfortunately.
I have one question. Are drones addressed anywhere?
Drones?
Drones.
So I can speak to that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
Right now, the New Hampshire, that basically we haven't caught up to it yet. So it's a new form of technology that there aren't any RSAs currently in place about them. So because of that, it can be addressed as a town ordinance, but you would obviously have to write it into law on a town level. There's different qualifiers for what the drone's usage can be, but for like just your little normal weird ones, no. I know, I get calls all the time. Why?
I'm just thinking more ones that, like if someone has one that's intruding on people's, homes or, that type of thing.
So there's a difference if they're a direct light of sign into the house itself. If you can prove that they're like videoing or intruding on your privacy that way, then that's the difference of it.
But zones are not going to fall under
Yeah.
under our purview. That's going to fall under the law enforcement purview. They will have
We don't even touch
their
it.
own
That's
RSA for that.
feds.
It's much different.
That's gonna be the feds.
All right, thanks.
All right. That being said, and
Got one,
yes,
got
ma'am.
one question. Have we heard anything back from the cell tower people as to what's happening?
No.
They are supposed to come to us?
You're absolutely correct. They are, and to be honest, I got all waylaid and all this other stuff, and I need to follow up on that.
Yeah.
Yep. Our next meeting will be the 6th of November. We do have a very full docket for that. Tricia will be running that. And, Mr. Crowley will be coming before us to talk to us. He did send a letter of explanation to everybody about his farm stand. And the agenda for that will be posted very shortly.
And when are you out of town?
I leave Thursday night, Halloween night. No egging my house.
Kendall,
Yes, ma'am.
have we done anything about, compact area?
We have not yet. We will be adding that, but my suggestion the other night was that the compact area be the area that is serviced by town water and town sewer. So that would be Highland Street up to the 98 Highland Street. It would be the loop, this loop here on School Street, the commercial area going down Main Street.
Wait a minute, Highland Street to 98, the circle where?
School Street,
School Street, okay. And where does it go?
all of Main Street to the I-93 and out West Street. It would then go down Winter Street, around to Depot Street, encompassing the Carr Avenue and Ames Drive area. Even though Ames Drive does not have town sewer yet, it's one small sliver around everything. And then up to Winona Road to the town line, up Avery Street and out Ledgewood, back to Thompson Street.
Ledgewood?
Yep.
To Thompson?
Yeah, well, no, to Ledgewood, then back down from, so Avery Street and Ledgewood is off of Winona Road. So it would then continue out Winona Road to Main Street, then up Thompson Street, to River Street, back to Main Street.
Main Street. Got it.
That would be my suggestion. That is primarily the area that is serviced by town water and town sewer. For the compact area, and
Okay.
and we will have to define compact area in our ordinance. But the definition that I have found so far is an area in which people live in a compact. We'll define it. Yeah.
More densely populated.
It's a more densely populated area than it's the village residential area.
How far up Levitt Hill is that water and sewer?
So I'm going by the tax maps, tax cards, and it doesn't really tell me because it hasn't been updated yet. But my understanding is if we wanted to, we could actually go over to the town beach, up Levitt Hill to Barry Goss Development and include that. So we put that out for discussion.
To Barry, Gauze.
But it wouldn't return on Route 3. Would return on River Street.
The River Street. Got it.
And the areas which I told you were the areas which are defined on the tax cards as having town water and town sewer.
Which may or may not have town water.
Yeah.
For the most, I can verify that most of them do. I also have talked with the town water department. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for the explanation.
you're welcome. Is there anything else?
No.
Excellent. Being nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
You can just adjourn.
And therefore, I will just adjourn.
We don't need a motion.